Good afternoon, welcome to Goodison Park. You're listening to 5 Live Sports Extra on this Saturday afternoon, the home of the Barclays Premier League. All the football on Sports Extra this afternoon with, of course, the Rugby World Cup, the first two quarter-finals on our sister station of 5 Live. A sombre mood here on Merseyside today because of the news earlier today that the Everton legend, the great manager Howard Kendall, had passed away this morning at the age of 69. Howard, of course, in charge during the glory years of the 80s when Everton won the First Division title on 2 occasions and also won the European Cup Winners' Cup. The teams are preparing to pay their tributes before the game kicks off, so let's join up with our sister station 5 Live, presenting Mark Pugach, and in the commentary box, Jimmy Armfield, alongside our senior football reporter, Ian Dennis.
And we've heard from Peter Reid and Graham Sharp and Kevin Ratcliffe from that successful period in the 1980s. But after that video montage, there was a wonderful applause around Goodison Park because there is a sombre mood. And I must also say as well, Mark, that there was a gesture made by both clubs about 5 minutes ago because, as you know, PC Dave Phillips recently lost his life in the line of duty. A Merseyside police officer. He was a proud Evertonian, and both Everton and Manchester United handed a floral tribute to his family and the match commander out on the pitch, which again, Jimmy, got a wonderful ovation from the crowd here at Goodison.
Yes, he did. I mean, he really was a Goodison hero. You know, people talk about football legends, but Howard Kendall was. And I remember, you know, he left Everton, and he asked me if you'd asked him to come back. And he rang me up and he said, would you come back? And I was never quite sure whether lightning was going to strike twice for him. But he was a tremendous figure, a terrific player, and I was never surprised, really, that he was a successful manager.
Well, now the two teams have lined up either side of the centre circle. Manchester United to my right, their red shirts, black shorts and black socks. And Everton in there, of course, traditional colours. As now everybody will pay their respects to Howard Kendall, an Everton legend who sadly passed away at the age of 69.
Howard Kendall was a giant of Everton Football Club. He has been taken from us at the age of 69. There will now be a minute's applause in memory of Howard. It will begin and end on the referee's whistle.
A ground that rocked in the 80s under Howard Kendall, Everton's most successful manager, reverberates to thunderous applause as Goodison Park, Everton and Manchester United supporters pay their respects to an Everton legend. Mark Pugach.
Let's bring in Kevin Kilban, who has common ground with Howard Kendall, not just with Everton, but at Preston, of course, as well. Kevin, good afternoon. What sort of conversations did you have with Howard Kendall about both clubs?
Hi, Mark. Yeah, that would have been the common ground. You say I used to speak to him about. I heard Jimmy speaking before about his Preston North End days when he did become the youngest ever player to play in a cup final. And I remember reminiscing with him about after that game where he would have to look after the kit, sort out all the medical stuff, got working with the team coming back after just becoming the youngest ever player in a cup final. So he told me about the days when he'd come down from the northeast of England to make his debut, almost thrown into Preston North End side, but a true legend. And you know, it's a very, very sad day for everybody concerned with football.
Kevin, and so everything that we're hearing at Goodison, understandably so, but this will be just as keenly felt at Deepdale, won't it?
Without a doubt, yeah. Of course, playing for the two clubs as well, I know that everybody at Everton will be more than aware of Howard Kendall and the history of the club, that in many respects it's all down to Howard and the success he had at the team, but particularly at Preston, definitely, because as Jimmy said, he was well thought of as a player. There was so much interest in him when he first broke into Preston North End's team, and he went on to have a wonderful career in first of all in playing and then into management.
Kevin, thank you very much indeed
Mark.
for that. That's Kevin Kilban and his memories of Howard Kendall. Now, the way we're going to do it this afternoon is you've heard from Ian Dennis and Jimmy Armfield. They're commentating on Sports Extra right now, Everton, Manchester United then, and here on 5 Live Sport. We're going to go around all the grounds. We'll talk about the rugby as well in the build-up to the 4 o'clock kickoff, which of course is Wales against South Africa and the World Cup quarter-final here. So back in the Premier League at 3 o'clock then. If I'd said to you maybe at the beginning of the season that Chelsea-Aston Villa would be a bottom of the table sort of clash, you'd think I'd taken even my senses. John Southall, Aston Villa fans sadly would say, well, we predicted that, but not the champions Chelsea down there. Another week for Jose Mourinho to get a few things off his chest.
Absolutely, relegation 6 points to this one, Mark. We've just kicked off, by the way. Another week of Jose Mourinho and fines from the FA. His charge book is up to 180,000.
5 Live Sports Extra here at Goodison Park. Just over 60 seconds played. Everton in their royal blue shirts, white shorts and white socks from left to right. Manchester United red shirts, black shorts and black socks for what has been a sombre start to the proceedings, with a wonderful tribute to Howard Kendall as Wayne Rooney back to Rojo. The team news is that Everton have made 3 changes from the side that took on Liverpool. Coleman returns, as does Stones from injury. Aaron Lennon makes his first start since he made his switch from Tottenham permanently from North London, and that is for Browning, Funes Mori and De La Feu. So Howard's in goal, a back 4 of Coleman, Stones, Jagielka and Galloway, Barry and McCarthy in the midfield, Lennon, Barkley and Naismith behind Lukaku. And Everton are on the attack on that far side, and it's with Galloway inside to Naismith. Naismith's shot is charged down by Jones. Manchester United 4 alterations from the team that was blown away by Arsenal. Jones for Blint, Rojo for Young, Schneidlin comes in for Carrick, and Herrera starts instead of Memphis. So De Gea is in goal. A back 4 of Darmian, Jones, Smalling and Rojo, Schweinsteiger and Schneidlin, and then Mata, Herrera, Rooney behind Anthony Martial. And our match summariser is our own legend, Jimmy Armfield.
I think the thing about it is really, from Everton's point of view today, the news about Howard Kendall has struck them, but as much as anything now, they know that they have to move on. The team has done very well, I think, this season. Definite improvement. This is another match where they've really got to think about winning at home. I saw them play Chelsea not long ago. They looked good then. Can they keep it going? Manchester United, difficult team to beat. Couple of changes. Schweinsteiger brought in, Schneiderlin. I think that's to curb the possible threat from young Barkley. We'll see.
Well, Manchester United have been awarded a free kick. It's the right corner of the penalty area, and Mata has placed this ball down. A half-time score in an early kick-off. Wimbledon 1, Morecambe 3 will still provide the usual goals, but it's by and large football focus this afternoon on 5 Live Sports Extra. Free kick is curled in, headed away by Jagielka, headed back by Schweinsteiger, and that drops out as Manchester United attack the Gladys Street end, playing from right to left. 3.5 minutes played, 0-0. Jimmy.
Yes, there's been a lot of talk about young Barkley, and I think his praise, has come with the last 2 internationals, where he's looked good for us, in those 2 games against Estonia and Lithuania. What I like about him is this sort of self-belief he has, as much as anything else. He looks to me, he gets the ball, he looks as though he's got a real chance of scoring a goal from midfield, and that's the thing I think that they've got to try and build on. I think at the moment, if Lloydson was picking the England team, I think they'd pick him. Definitely put him straight in.
Do you?
Yes, I do.
As a starter?
As a starter.
Oh, right, interesting. Doncaster Rovers 0, Bradford City 1. It's not the ideal start for Duncan Ferguson in his first game since he was appointed manager. Rob Jones had been the caretaker manager. So that's an early goal in that Yorkshire derby in League One. The ball is played forward, headed infield by Naismith, quickly won back by Manchester United. Schneiderlin to Rooney, and Rooney's ball out towards that far side, and it's Darmian who's pushed forward, the right back towards Mata. Manchester United keeping the ball in these early stages. Played forward towards Rooney and then cleared away. Did I say Duncan Ferguson? Sorry, it was Darren Ferguson.
That's right.
I meant Darren.
Slightly different person.
Slightly different, yeah. And also bearing in mind that I saw Duncan here earlier on, I think he would have had a job to have been at the Goodison and the Keepmoat. Slip of the tongue. So producer Gary keeping me in check. And Manchester United coming forward, 0-0 in the early stages, 5 minutes played. Rojo back in the Manchester United starting lineup. Herrera equally so restored. Schweinsteiger forward of the centre circle. Brentford lead Rotherham by a goal to 0. Neil Redfern appointed Rotherham's new manager, and they're behind at Griffin Park. That's a nice little turn by Herrera. He runs into Gareth Barry. Gareth Barry's long clearance, and Jones making his first start for United with a back pass towards De Gea. Lukaku's anticipation, he actually ran towards the left-hand side of De Gea, so it would have been coming off De Gea's right foot, but De Gea was cute, and instead of clearing it long, avoided any chance of a ricochet and played it back to where it came from, as an acute angle back towards Jones to avoid such a scenario.
I think the thing is, Van Gaal has put Jones back in there with Smalling, to think about Lukaku, because Lukaku's the kind of player, he can get the team on the run. He can get at teams, from midfield with his pace.
Walsall 0, Chesterfield 1, a latest score in League One. 0-0 here at Goodison. Naismith away from Schneidlin. McCarthy infield. I don't know whether it was just there. Martial at the moment, he's now going into a more central area.
Yes.
Here is Martial taking the ball from the throw, strong running. And in the end, it required Coleman just to come back at him and shield the ball back towards Howard.
I thought really it was a good run that by Martial, but I thought Stones got caught there. A bit of positional play, and in the end Coleman dug him out. They were both running towards the goal. Somebody had to make a decision.
De Gea quickly off his line. Lukaku almost prodded it past him. Martial, just look at United's formation, Jimmy. Martial is drifting to the left, and Rooney actually is the one in the central position.
I think what it is, I think Van Gaal has said to them, don't just get caught in one role and let Stones pick you up and let Coleman pick you up. Move around a little bit. And I think, give them something to think about.
Mata, who himself is a good 15 yards in from that right touchline, therefore creating space for Darmian as the right back. Martial on this left-hand side. Back with Rojo, chips it forward. Martial with a glancing header. Mata's made the run in behind. McCarthy will cover. Clearance by Jagielka. Headed forward by Schweinsteiger. And Naismith with a back pass. Rooney almost snuffed it out, and then a clearance from Howard. Wigan 1, Colchester 0 is the latest score in League One. You're up to date on 5 Live Sports Extra, where earlier it finished Tottenham 0, Liverpool 0. Darmian, who likes to get forward, we've seen that when he's played for Italy against England, and here he is, the right back, and it's his ball delivered 6 yards in front of goal from that right hand side, low and hard. Everton will clear.
Martial should have been in there. I thought he stuck out wide on the left, as the point you made earlier. I thought he should have been in there. When the right fullback gets in that position, level with the 6-yard area, and he's inside the box and he's putting across, there was only Rooney in the penalty area. I think Manchester United have actually started quite well here.
Manchester City lead Bournemouth by a goal to 0. Raheem Sterling has scored at the Etihad. Manchester City 1, the leaders. Bournemouth 0. 0-0 here. Here is Stones. Stones will stroke the ball forward. Barkley out towards Galloway on that far side. Back to Jagielka. Captained England for the first time in Vilnius in midweek. Long ball, picks out the run of Lukaku, takes it on the chest. Back towards Barkley. Barkley on the left-hand side. Comes in field. Barkley looking up. He was trying to pick out Lennon. And a deflection and then a header away by Rojo, and then he'll volley the ball firmly away as Roberto Martinez on the edge of that technical area watching on. And Jagielka takes no chances all the way back to Howard, 0-0.
Yes, it's long ball knocked forward really. Martial, I must be fair, he stuck out on this left-hand side. I wonder why he's doing that. I'm sure it's really to try and get a bit of a switch in the play that he's looking for, Van Gaal.
Schneidlin is tracking every run of Ross Barkley as the ball goes long towards Lukaku, and in the end it was Jones running back into his penalty area to head the ball back towards De Gea to tidy up. Still no goals at Goodison.
Smalling did well there. Lukaku was backing into him. You've got to watch you don't give a penalty away when it gets in the area like that. Smalling stood firm.
Long clearance by De Gea. Martial coming off the left touch line. The loose ball is picked up by Herrera, lays it back towards Rojo. Little control, pop back off then by Schneiderlin, and Schweinsteiger will lift that ball across towards that far side. Red shirts, black shorts, playing from right to left, Manchester United. Rooney, midway through the Everton half, and just starting to drift a little bit out towards the right. Plays it back in field to Mata. Back towards Rooney. Rooney coming forward, drills it in, and it whistles well wide for a goal kick. 0-0.
Good move. Lovely pass, lovely passing game. Rooney coming in on the edge of the box. Good shot, just wide of the target. Manchester United definitely got the upper hand.
And we can get news of that Raheem Sterling goal for Manchester City from John Akers.
And they've got a second in just as you join me, and it's Wilfred Bonney in for Aguero. Could be a long afternoon for Bournemouth this. The first goal, Sterling poked in from close range. The second, Wilfred Bonney again from close range. The ball on the left-hand side. It was played a little reverse pass to Sanya. He picked it up on the left, whipped into the middle. Keeper spilled it. Federici is in for his first start in the Premier League for Bournemouth after Boric was injured in the warm-up, and he's had a shocker of a start. Bonney scores, City 2-0 up, and we've only had 10 minutes.
Thank you, John. An ominous start as far as Bournemouth are concerned, bearing in mind as Barkley can't get the shot away. It might reach Naismith, cleared by United. Bearing in mind they put 6 past Newcastle. 2 in the opening 10 minutes is a decent start for Manchester City. Free kick though to Everton, who understandably, after a slow start with the circumstances, are now starting to get into the game.
Yes, they are. That's the second ball they've chipped from midfield right into the central attacker, and this time there's a foul, and it's going to be a free kick, and Manchester United are going to have to watch this 5 or 6 paces outside the penalty area, more or less plumb centre. Now Lukaku will fancy this on his left foot, I think. Let's see what happens.
Well, I remember Danny Philliskirk's dad Tony playing for Sheffield United. Danny Philliskirk has actually put Oldham ahead against Sheffield United at Boundary Park. Oldham 1, Sheffield United 0. No goals here. Manchester City are 2-0 up at home to Bournemouth, but Everton have this free kick. It's more or less a central position. It's fractionally right of centre. It's either going to be the right foot of Barkley or the left foot of Lukaku. Manchester United have every red shirt back just inside their own penalty area. Lukaku, stuttering run up, left-footed into the top of the wall, and will go behind for a corner kick.
Yeah, I thought he was favourite to take it right from the word go there. Barkley was sort of a decoy coming in onto his right foot. I've seen Lukaku hit the target from there. That one looked to be on target, but a good deflection off the wall. It's gone for a corner to Everton.
Ross Barkley's going to take that corner. It's swept in towards the near post. Stones is there. He does well to retrieve it. McCarthy then quickly back out towards Barkley on that far side. Barkley looking for that sight of goal as he runs in field. Cleared away, but only slice clearance by Manchester United. And Stones lays it out towards Lennon. Will he keep the ball in play? Yes, he will. The diminutive figure coming in now off that right touchline. Lennon looks to go on the outside of Schweinsteiger. Back heels the ball towards Stones. It's a deep ball in, hanging cross from the right, and cleared by Mata, only as far as Barry, off the chest, showed a little bit too much towards Schneiderlin. United though can't get out. Everton have got it back once again. Jagielka to Galloway. Wigan 2, Colchester 0, and Stevenage lead Wycombe by a goal to 0. And Blackburn are down to 10 men. Adam Henley has been sent off for Blackburn Rovers. Stones turns away from Rooney. Everton have their tails up.
Rooney wouldn't have liked that, Rooney coming back to his old club, really. He was deep down, he was an Evertonian when he was a youngster.
The only thing he did return, I think he played about the last 15 minutes for Duncan Ferguson's testimonial at the start of August against Villarreal. And
the family are all Evertonians.
Yeah, and he actually got a decent reception as well from the Evertonians. MK Dons are now leading Blackburn by a goal to 0, taking full advantage of that 10 men. And in fact, there was another occasion when Tony Hibbert had his testimonial.
That's right.
And Wayne Rooney wanted to play in that testimonial, and Manchester United actually prevented him from doing so. 15 minutes played, 0-0, 5 Live Sports Extra, Everton against Manchester United. No other goals to tell you about elsewhere.
It's an interesting match this at the moment because Manchester United, I thought, started well, full of confidence, and Martial, he had one or two little moves down this left-hand side. Things were looking a little bit promising. Nothing really, though, going towards Howard's goal. But I think Everton just started to move forward a little bit now, a bit more progression, particularly coming through the midfield area. Naismith, Barkley.
Scunthorpe 0, Shrewsbury 1. Sully Kalkai on loan from Crystal Palace has got that goal at Glanford Park. Manchester United playing the ball across the back. Coming forward is Schneiderlin, who just dropped in between the two central defenders. And then they play a diagonal ball back towards Jones. Started for his country. That was his first start of the season. He'd made about 3 substitute appearances before. This is his first start for his club. Schneiderlin's diagonal ball out towards Herrera on this near side, the left, in front of the main stand at Goodison Park. But Everton pressing and forcing Manchester United back. Jimmy Anfield.
Yeah, it's good pressing. Both teams really, I think, have started. It's very competitively, I think, is the best way to put it. There's a competitive look about the pair of them here. They know how important this game can be.
Leeds United 0, Brighton 1 is a score from Ellen Road. Leeds United haven't won in their last 10 at Ellen Road, as Rooney will let it run toward Martial. Mata might get there. In the end, it was Coleman who was tucked in the right back to clear, and Brighton, who are the only unbeaten side in England in the English leagues, Chris Hughton's side, are leading 1-0. Wigan 3, Colchester 0, and you're up to date. 0-0 here at Goodison Park. Manchester City elsewhere lead Bournemouth 2-0.
Both teams have sort of got the way the game started, what I call holding players in midfield. McCarthy and Barry for Everton, just holding in front of the back players. Same thing, Schneiderlin and Schweinsteiger for Manchester United. Seems to be coming more and more into the game, this holding players just in front of the two central defenders.
Martial, very much on this left-hand side of United's attack, gets the ball back then and comes in. Lennon is there, he tries to find Herrera in a central position. Schneiderlin's clearance is flicked on by Rojo to Martial. Good old shoulder barge by Aaron Lennon. Welcome to the Premier League. And Smalling tight behind Lukaku, helped on by Schweinsteiger. Here is Herrera. Herrera picking up the pieces, and Herrera will shoot and warm the hands of Howard. Tipped over for a corner to Manchester United, 0-0.
Best effort in the game. Good shot by Herrera. He was running across the penalty area almost, so he had to swing his right foot back to get a shot at it. Unfortunately for Howard, it was right at him really. He's tipped it over the top, corner to Manchester United. It's the first real effort though, that, I think.
Wimbledon have got a goal back. Wimbledon 2, Morecambe 3. The corner's taken short on that right hand side. It's played in by Mata, headed up rather than away by Naismith. He has to have a second attempt at that. Hook goalwards. It might fall towards Schneiderlin, and Schneiderlin strokes the ball past Howard, and Manchester United lead by a goal to 0, and Schneiderlin scores his first for the club, 1-0.
Yes, Everton really looked a little bit untidy at the back there. As the ball came in, it was headed up in the air, and then there was a deflection. It came out to the left-hand side. We were right behind it here, and Schneiderlin, all he had to do was just poke it into the goal, no more than 6 yards out. He took it with great composure, and it's come after probably the best shot of the match from Herrera, which brought the corner, and that's a good start for Manchester United.
Took a deflection after Rojo had hooked the ball on. It all came really from the poor clearance from Naismith, but as you say, it was a composed finish by Morgan Schneiderlin, and Manchester United are leading. Everton 0, Manchester United 1. Bristol Rovers are leading at Mansfield by a goal to 0, and Oxford are 1-0 up at Leyton Orient, also in League 2.
I think the thing about it was too, what surprised me was that he was actually all on his own virtually at the back stick. You know, Everton's defence had gone to sleep. After the first ball goes up in the air and they all start wondering what's going on, you know, that's when you should be picking players up around the 6-yard box. And just for a moment, there was nobody in that right back spot. And Schneiderlin, great composure, just put it away.
Morgan Schneiderlin has scored after 18 minutes. Manchester City lead Bournemouth by 2-0. Arsenal play a little later on. At the start of play, they were sandwiched in between the two Manchester clubs. That's a 5:30 start at Vicarage Road. Watford against Arsenal. Jagielka having to deal with Rooney, but he gets away from Wayne Rooney and then keeps the ball in play. Stones Gave the ball towards Harry, would have given Barry a few palpitations there, would have John Stones, with the... I don't think he was necessarily expecting that pass, was he?
Yes,
from
but
Stones.
I think the one thing is, I like his casual approach at times. I think it's very good. I think he's a real prospect, Stones, for us, you know, for English football. And I think as much as anything else, I'd like to see him sometimes, as he is now. He tends to what I call dawdle a bit on the ball. You know, it has to move a little bit quicker. Because if you're coming out very slowly all the time, it gives the other team time to mark players and spot danger. Just like to see him progress sometimes, occasionally, just to change the product, make a bit of a zip, you know, go for it a bit, 15-yard sprint.
Millwall are leading Swindon Town by a goal to nil at the New Den. Lee Gregory, formerly of Halifax Town, has scored that goal as Jagielka pings the ball out towards Lennon, hugging the right touchline. Good control as he tries to come on the inside, but Martial has doubled up on him, and Queen's Park Rangers are 1-0 up at Birmingham by a goal to nil at St Andrews. Birmingham 0, Queen's Park Rangers 1. Matt Phillips has scored that goal. They are the top scorers in the Championship, but they equally have the worst defence as Manchester United with Schweinsteiger looking to release Rooney. That's too deep, the ball, and Howard will come out of his penalty area to gather with his feet. 1-0 to United. Jimmy Armfield.
Yes, so now they revert right away, Manchester United, to get those midfield players just in front of the back four as soon as they break out. This is obviously the tactic he's employing today. Doesn't mean to say he's going to play that next week. LVG, you never know what he's going to do next. But the point about it is, I just feel it's got it with Everton, McCarthy and Barry. You've got it here now, and it's paid off for him so far.
And they lead 1-0. Jagielka steps forward, powerful header. Smalling will meet it on the volley. Long clearance that Coleman gets underneath and heads it in field, headed on by Barry, back with United and Rooney. Brought down ever so well off the chest. Schweinsteiger plays it early. Martial, referee's played the advantage. He was taken out from behind by Coleman, not a ball in, and the header in, and Manchester United have a second goal, and it's Herrera arriving the far post past Howard. Credit the referee for playing the advantage. Now he shows the yellow card to Coleman, and Manchester United took full advantage and lead Everton 2-0.
Caught cold again, Everton's defence. I mean, there was nobody marking the Herrera running in on the right hand side, but the move came about because there was a bit of composure in the middle of the field. Ball comes out to the left hand side, and Rojo, he hits the ball first time. That was the secret. He hit it first time, and Herrera carried on with the run. It was pinpoint, the cross, right under his head, and he's headed it down, and Howard had no chance of saving that. What a good goal that was.
Manchester United lead by 2-0. We are midway through the first half. Herrera's downward header gave Howard no chance. He was unmarked. But the referee as well deserves credit, Jimmy.
Yeah, he did. The referee did well, played the advantage, and I think Everton were caught. Just caught casual as much as anything else. I mean, he's got a free header there, and he's 8 or 9 yards from goal, and the cross has come 40 yards into the box.
Southampton are leading Leicester City by a goal to nil. Jose Font, who's recently signed a new deal, has given them the lead at St Mary's. Bournemouth have got a goal back at Manchester City. Manchester City 2, Bournemouth 1 is the latest score. Glenn Murray has reduced the arrears. But here, Manchester United leading by 2-0. And when you consider that they've lost 3 of their last 4 matches away from home, Swansea, PSV and Arsenal, as Everton, I think we're looking for a penalty for Lukaku there.
Well, he was saying Smalling fouled Lukaku there, but he went down too easily, and the referee was right on the spot. He waved, his hands across as if to say, definitely not.
So Everton, on what is a difficult day for the club, need to try and respond. Rooney out to Mata. West Ham United are leading Crystal Palace by a goal to nil as there's a counter-attack for United, and it's led by Wayne Rooney up against Stones. Stones gets the block in.
Did well. Stones did well there, because there could have been another real threat on Everton's goal. They got caught again in the left full-back position this time. Rooney was running at it and Stones did well. Just managed to block it.
So West Ham are leading Crystal Palace by a goal to nil. Leeds United have equalised at home to Brighton. It's 1-1. Barnsley are leading at Southend by a goal to nil. Let's get news of that Bournemouth goal from John Akers.
It's Glenn Murray again, Ian. Picked the ball up around about 20 yards from goal. Hit a sweet right foot shot. which took a little deflection off Mangala, which I think was just enough to put Joe Hart off. Diving away to his left, he couldn't get to it. They just had a corner as well. The fans you can hear in the background are the Bournemouth fans. It seemed like it was going to be a long afternoon, but they've got one back and they're very much in this. It's Manchester City 2, Bournemouth 1.
Thank you, John. Crystal Palace 0, West Ham 1, Southampton 1, Leicester City 0. Still no goals between West Brom and Sunderland, or indeed Chelsea against Aston Villa. Here at Goodison Park, it's Everton 0, Manchester United 2. Goals from Schneiderlin and Herrera have given Louis van Gaal's side, at the minute, is a comfortable lead, Jimmy Armfield.
It is. They started the game the better team. There was a more confident look about them, I felt. But I'm looking down at manager Martinez, that's the Everton manager. I was wondering what he's thinking about this midfield area, because just at the moment I think they're getting caught out in that area too easily.
Ball played out from Howard to Jagielka. Here is Stones. Back in the side after injury. He'd missed the last 2 Everton games, and of course England duty too. Lukaku, downward header towards Naismith. Manchester United will clear. Schweinsteiger, early ball to Herrera, spins and turns with the ball at his feet, then lays it out towards Darmian on that far side. Manchester United playing from right to left. Their supporters are the ones making the noise at Goodison Park as Jagielka head down, runs forward into the centre circle and then plays a square ball towards Lennon. Coleman's gone on ahead of Aaron Lennon, who now comes in off that right touchline, plays the ball forward towards McCarthy, and Smalling will marshal it out for a goal kick. Crystal Palace have equalised, a penalty from Johan Cabaye at Selhurst Park in that London derby. Crystal Palace 1, West Ham 1.
Smalling did well there. He's got a difficult task looking after Lukaku today because he's a bit of a handful. Smalling's a strong player. I noticed it when he's playing for England. You know, I think his game's matured a little bit as well. A bit more mobility about him than he used to have. But he gives them that bit of body strength as much as anything which you need, I think, with central defenders.
Martial's downward header from De Gea's goal kick that was coming out towards this near side, the left, and Everton have gone all the way back towards Howard in his luminous goalkeeping outfit. Stones leaves it towards Jagielka. Jagielka will bypass Stones towards Coleman. Lack of movement though from the blue shirts ahead of the Everton defenders.
It's the midfield players in front of them. There's no sort of combination with the back players. McCarthy really on this right side, he's just standing, you know, as much as anything. He needs to go forward occasionally.
Here is Schweinsteiger now towards Martial. So let's get news of those couple of goals at Ellen Road from Delith Lloyd.
Yeah, great game, Ian. Leeds 1, Brighton 1. The league leaders taking the lead on 14 minutes. A cool finish from Solly March. A much-deserved equaliser, though, from Leeds 8 minutes later. Liam Cooper nodding home into the bottom corner after an Alex Mowat free kick. Leeds 1, Brighton 1.
5 Live Sports Extra at Goodison Park. And Birmingham have equalised at home to Queen's Park Rangers. Birmingham 1, Queen's Park Rangers 1.
Yes, just a moment ago, remember I mentioned to you about Martial. He started out on the left side, played there really for the first quarter of an hour, certainly, of this game. But I just noticed a moment ago he was on the right wing. So he's obviously got a bit of free rein here. We've got a United player getting a bit of treatment down here.
Phil Jones,
yeah.
He's got a little blow to the nose that they're just trying to mop up. Millwall have got a second goal at home to Swindon. 2-0 at the New Den. To Selhurst Park and Rob Knopfman.
And it's Crystal Palace 1, West Ham 1. Carl Jenkinson put West Ham in front. Clever goal from Kouyate's pass, but within a minute he'd brought down Dwight Gale in the box. Cabaye scored from the penalty spot, but then had to retake it because of encroachment, and he beat Adrian for a second time. The Spanish goalkeeper getting a hand to it, but he couldn't keep it out. It's Crystal Palace 1, West Ham 1.
Thank you, Rob. Goodison Park, where there's a little brightening up a little bit. There had been an overcast afternoon earlier. Patches of blue sky up above. Everton are 2-0 down. Jones is still getting treatment. In fact, he's going to have to take off that shirt as well. That blood-stained shirt is bare-chested at the moment as Everton trying to take advantage. Schweinsteiger has dropped in alongside Smalling. Coleman now comes in off the right touchline to Gareth Barry, 30 yards out from goal. Galloway has ventured forward over on that far side, the left back, left corner of the penalty area to Barkley, quickly closed down by Schweinsteiger. Now here is Stones. He was appealing for the ball. He plays it forward. Coleman was the intended recipient, but it was Rojo who's tucked in, and Manchester United stay firm. Manchester City have got a third goal. 3-1, they now lead Bournemouth. Coleman's cross. Lukaku will challenge De Gea. De Gea stays down. The referee actually hasn't blown his whistle, and now he stops play because De Gea has a head injury. It was Smalling who was the only player to react to that loose ball as it bounced about a couple of yards in front of goal, and there is a stoppage in play. So Raheem Sterling has got his second, and it's now 3-1 to Manchester City, and I think it's fair to say they'll be staying top of the table.
Didn't look to be anything insignificant there, did they? Really significant, I should say. He went up there, Lukaku's gone up there with the goalkeeper, and the next thing I knew, he's turned round and he's on his knees, and the referee blows up. Of course, the referee's only obeying instructions,
And whilst that's been going on, Jimmy, Phil Jones, still bare-chested, they're just trying to stem that flow of blood to the nose.
Yeah.
So De Gea is...
I'm just looking at alternatives that they might have if Jones, there are one or two. But interesting to see.
Daley Blind would be the obvious one, wouldn't he?
Might make it a better week for the Blind family.
Weak autumnal sunshine at Goodison Park. Everton are 2-0 down, half an hour, 31 minutes in fact played. Changes shirt now for Phil Jones. I think they stopped that flow of blood to the nose as Coleman loses his balance, and McCarthy slides in to force the ball out of play for a throw to Manchester United, who lead 2-0. Partick Thistle are leading St Johnstone by a goal to nil at McDermott Park, 1-0.
Yeah, Jones has come back on. He's holding his nose, so he's obviously got a problem. It's very difficult when you have a nose injury to carry on playing. I know, I've experienced it. It does makes a big difference.
Schweinsteiger in that weak sunshine for a United side with those two first half goals from Schneidlin and Herrera. Darmian is forward on that right hand side. Let's get news of that second goal for Raheem Sterling from John Akers.
He showed good pace. De Bruyne set him away. He got into the penalty area, feigned to shoot on his left, took it on his right, put two defenders on their backsides and finished right-footed from 10 yards. Manchester City 3, Bournemouth 1.
Coleman will tidy up and back now towards Howard. Howard will quickly switch it onto that left foot to clear inside his 6-yard area. Schweinsteiger will get the return ball back by Herrera, able to turn. McCarthy was late there on Schweinsteiger, a little bit needless, maybe a little bit of frustration from Everton midfielder, spotted by referee. Free kick to Manchester United.
Yes, a bit of frustration as much as anything else. Schweinsteiger did well. He headed the first ball out when it came over, and when he picked up a return pass, McCarthy's just niggled him a little bit.
Sheffield United have equalised at Boundary Park. Oldham Athletic 1, Sheffield United 1 is the latest score in League One. Schweinsteiger along the ground with that free kick to Rooney. Jagielka was tight behind him. Rooney falls to the floor. Referee John Moss says no foul. Everton will play the ball out towards that far side, and now it's with Galloway.
Yeah, he's not been as progressive as he was the last time I saw him when he came and played against Chelsea. He goes so far, then he seems to, put the brakes on. A little bit of uncertainty crept in.
Here is Stones over the halfway line, allowed to venture forward for Everton in their royal blue shirts, and Schweinsteiger is quick to close him down. Comes off the German, who had been a doubt coming into this game. He'd been struggling with a groin problem. He has featured in all 14 games now for Manchester United since his summer move. Lukaku to Coleman, gets away from a little kick out there by Smalling. Jagielka will play it forward. Galloway now across towards Ross Barkley, drops his shoulder, comes inside. Ross Barkley looking at his options, central position to Stones. Coleman does well to come in between two United players. Smalling though steps out of defence, read that situation well. Now Rooney has it, and Rooney passes the ball back. Schneidlin, edge of his own centre circle, hoists that ball towards Martial. Martial will wait for that ball to settle, plays it behind him. Here is Rojo. Rojo turns forward. Martial. Manchester United lead 2-0. 5 Live Sports Extra, 34 minutes played. Little ball in field. Schweinsteiger to Herrera, who got the second goal. Confident and patient passing from Manchester United. Schneiderlin just outside the centre circle, back out towards the right-hand side. Wigan now lead Colchester United 4-0. Luton are 1-0 up at Crawley Town. Freddie Woodman, who had been on loan from Newcastle United, has since been recalled due to that unfortunate injury to Tim Krul, and Crawley are behind. And Chelsea are leading Aston Villa by a goal to nil. Diego Costa has scored after 34 minutes at Stamford Bridge. Chelsea 1, Aston Villa 0. It means the only goalless game in the top flight is West Brom against Sunderland. Chelsea 1-0 against Aston Villa, Crystal Palace 1, West Ham 1, Manchester City lead Bournemouth 3-1, Southampton are 1-0 up against Leicester, and here at Goodison Park, Manchester United are 2-0 up against Everton. Rooney's given the ball away. He'll try and redeem himself by winning it back. Ross Barkley will take no chances and passes the ball back towards Howard in the Everton goal.
Yeah, Manchester United put 12 passes together there, before an Everton player got into the action. It was only because Rooney gave the ball away. I think the thing is that shows, there's a bit of confidence about Manchester United. I know they're 2 goals up, but the point is there's a total difference between them and Everton's build-up play at this moment.
Leyton Orient 0, Oxford United 2, and Dagenham Redbridge 0, Hartlepool United 1. Barkley back heels the ball to Barry, off his left foot, passed forward towards Lukaku, holds it up well. McCarthy will lift it into the air. Galloway joins the attack, takes it on his chest, still going Galloway. The referee again has played the advantage, and it was a good ball in and turned behind by Smalling for a corner kick, and the referee letting the game flow.
Excellent. Yes, he did well, Galloway, that time. When he's going forward, he looks a good player. He gets caught out on defensive positions. He's a bit young yet, but he'll learn. But that was a really good move from Everton, much better, but they've won a corner kick.
Southend have equalised at Roots Hall. Southend 1, Barnsley 1. That's the latest score in League One. Corner kick for Everton on that far side. De Gea got nowhere near it. The referee's blown his whistle as Jagielka from almost a square angle trying to put the ball back into the penalty area off his right foot. But that'll be a free kick. Somebody, I think,
I think it was Naismith.
Had fouled De Gea.
I think it was Naismith. I think he was looking at it as much as anything. But so the point is that's a little bit better from Everton, but frankly, there's not much threat, if you think about it, Ian, gone towards De Gea's goal, has there?
No. Partick Thistle have got a second goal at St Johnstone, 2-0, ball lifted towards Naismith. Jones will see it back towards De Gea, and use of that Diego Costa goal from John Southall.
Yeah, Chelsea 1, Villa 0, and a real slice of luck for Chelsea as well, and Chelsea have a free kick now on the edge of the penalty area. It was gifted to them by the Villa goalkeeper Brad Guzan. He gave the ball away to Willian. He played in Costa 2 yards out, and Chelsea lead Villa by a goal to 0.
And Southampton have got a second goal. They now lead Leicester City by 2 goals to 0 at St Mary's. Leicester City, who have been unbeaten in 7 away games, now have fallen behind, and it's a Virgil van Dijk goal for Southampton. So Southampton 2, Leicester 0, Manchester City lead Bournemouth 3-1, 1-1 between Palace and West Ham. Chelsea lead Aston Villa by a goal to 0. At the Hawthorns, it's predictably tight between West Bromwich Albion and Sunderland. Watford against Arsenal is a 5:30 kick-off. It finished Tottenham 0, Liverpool 0, a full-time score. And here at Goodison Park, it's Manchester United
fairly comfortable at the moment, really,
yeah.
aren't they? If you think about it, look, there's not much really has gone at De Gea's goal. That was the point I made, a couple of minutes ago. The real threat comes, I think, when Everton have been on a bit of an attack, it breaks down, and Manchester United are catching them on the break as much as anything. The 2 goals came that way, quick movement as much as anything else, and Everton got caught out. Martinez, I think the manager, he'll be a little bit concerned at the moment.
Rangers are behind at home to Queen of the South by a goal to 0. Martial spins away from Stones, who is quickly back goal side. Out of play it goes for a throw. So let's get news of the Southampton second goal. The details from Andy Gillies.
Interesting goal as well, because it came as a result of a corner. Pella's header hits the post. It rebounded to Van Dijk, who is standing right in front of the post. Hit Van Dijk, rebounded back onto the post, rebounded back onto Van Dijk, and went into the goal. Southampton deserve it, though. They're on top, and they lead Leicester by 2 goals to 0.
Yeah, sounds very similar to the game here at Goodison Park, where Everton have been awarded a free kick from referee John Moss, and he's actually now calling Schweinsteiger towards him.
I think he should see yellow card defence. He knows what he's done. Everton were looking to take a quick free kick, and he stood about a yard away. He knows very well, he knows the rule. He stopped the free kick being taken. The referees, who's refereed very well so far, I think he should have booked Schweinsteiger. Perhaps he didn't fancy spelling it.
John Moss, who the FA Cup final took charge last season, and he's tried to let the game flow. It's always encouraging to see a referee do that. Cambridge United are leading Northampton Town by 1-0. Barkley picking up the loose ball for Everton, who ideally would like to get a goal back before half-time. They're 2-0 down. Here is McCarthy. Coleman, right-hand side, just a few yards in from the touchline, level with the penalty area. McCarthy then goes on the overlap. Coleman will come in field, looking to link up with Naismith. And then, Schweinsteiger's passed the ball straight towards Lennon. Barkley. Always that air of anticipation when Barkley's on the ball. Galloway left corner of the penalty area. Everton still attacking, 2-0 down. Giving the ball away. Here is Mata. Mata's given it away. Both sides guilty. Everton, edge of the area, still threatening. And in the end, it was Jagielka who turned. He scored a worldie against Liverpool last season at Anfield. This time couldn't keep his shot down.
I don't know what that was. I don't know what he was trying to do. I think he got caught in two minds whether he'd chip it onto the back post or shoot. But I did notice that when Everton got the ball there and they were attacking Manchester United had two lines of four almost in front of them. 8 players to get through. If you're going to get a dark goal, you've got to get past these 8 players. That's what they're asking now of Everton.
How unsettling is it when you've had such a tragic news as Everton Football Club had to deal with ahead of kick-off?
Well, people deal with things differently, don't they?
But from a player's point of view, because the atmosphere, understandably, is muted.
Well, I think it's muted during the match because they're not doing so well, I think, as much as anything else. But, I mean, said a lot of these people, won't remember Howard playing, and they may remember him managing, but they won't remember him playing. But definitely, he was a true legend.
Flag stays down. Rooney in on goal into the penalty area. Rooney back to Martial. Martial shot, and in the end, it's saved by Howard. Didn't quite strike it true enough, did he, off his right foot?
Should have been number 3 without any problem. Everton playing the offside. Galloway caught out. Rooney got down on the right-hand side, pulled it back. Martial on the edge of the area, really, as much as anything, but he half hit it. Real chance.
Should have been 3, but as it is, Manchester United still lead by 2-0 with 3 minutes to go to half-time here at Goodison Park. Schneidlin, who got the first, strokes the ball to Smalling. Smalling comes over the halfway line. He's got Martial and Rooney ahead of him. Smalling will turn, and a right-footed ball along the ground. Here is Herrera. Herrera towards Mata. Darmian goes forward as a right-back. Here he is now, the Italian. His first pass is that backwards to Herrera. Mata gets a little touch as well, but they're keeping the ball, Jimmy, and now all of a sudden Herrera finds space. They're playing around Everton. Here is Mata. There's a man over on the right-hand side. It's Darmian. Low ball in. Only finds Jagielka. Jagielka will clear.
It's the space. The midfield players are getting caught out, with players running as much as anything else. And I think more than anything else, that's the problem for Martinez. Just to come back, I didn't quite finish what we were going to say about Howard Kendall. I think he'll always be held in respect, no matter what happens from time on. Point is, though, it's just for the day they will remember, definitely.
Yes.
But people will conjure up his memory in years to come.
Absolutely, and quite rightly so too. 2 minutes to go to half-time. Everton 0, Manchester United 2. Comfortable for Manchester United. In fact, they could be threatening more goals. In fact, it didn't stay in for Darmian, but they're having great joy on that right-hand side, aren't they?
Well, Herrera is having a birthday. Playing at right midfield, he's having a birthday because he's the link player. He's got involved with one of the goals. He scored a goal. He could have had another. He had a 20-yard shot that was well saved by Howard. But he's getting the freedom, and that is the problem I think Martinez has got to deal with, this midfield area when they get in for the half-time.
Well, we have just over 60 seconds as Lukaku picks up this ball and runs at the United defence. He's got support from Barkley. Infield, Galloway takes it into the penalty area. It was a block by Smalling behind for a corner kick. Southend have come from behind. They lead Barnsley now at Roots Hall by 2-1. Fleetwood are leading Burton Albion by 1-0, and it's Port Vale 1, Peterborough United 0. All those last 3 scores all in League One. Corner kick to Everton, who trail 2-0. Barkley to take it, floated over, headed away by Jones. It comes back to where it came from, to Barkley, into the penalty area. The angle is tight. In the end, it was Swatted away at his near post, but extremely strong wrist by De Gea. Great vision by Barkley. Agile goalkeeping by De Gea.
I think that's been Everton's best effort of the half. He's coming in from the left-hand side, switched to his right foot, and it was a good shot to put it gone just under the bar. Good save by De Gea.
Everton's best moment of the half. Lukaku from the throw on this right-hand side. Rooney will help tidy up. Manchester United have every red shirt back in that final third of the field as they lead by 2-0. Dwight Gale has been sent off for Crystal Palace. They're still drawing 1-1 with West Ham, but Gale has been sent off for a second bookable offence. Manchester City lead Bournemouth 3-1. Southampton are 2-0 up against Leicester. West Brom 0, Sunderland 0, and Chelsea lead Aston Villa by 1-0. We have 1 minute of added on time, which we're now into at Goodison Park. Aaron Lennon, right-hand side. Martial will come back to help out. And now Schweinsteiger plays it forward towards Rooney. Schweinsteiger has stayed down. Rooney, though, is still on the attack for Manchester United. Wayne Rooney into the penalty area. That stanchion often gets in the way here, doesn't it? Obscures our view as we look to our left-hand side, but Howard could gather it in. Jimmy Armfield.
That was a good break, and Mata, it was just ahead of him. Otherwise, it would have been a simple tap-in. Good run by Rooney.
Naismith. Jagielka. Here is Coleman on the halfway line on this near side the right, playing from left to right as we look. No option, so he has to go back. And the half-time whistle is blown, and Manchester United are leading by 2-0. Boos from the Everton supporters. And let's get details of that red card for Rob Nothman at Selhurst Park.
Yes, it's Crystal Palace 1, West Ham 1, but Dwight Gale sent off for a second yellow card just before half-time. A really unnecessary second yellow, a late challenge, not a malicious one, but it was late on Kouyaté, but it was inside the Palace half, the sort of booking and sending off that sends managers into apoplexy. Well, Gale retreated off the field with his shirt above his head. He looked really distressed. Palace 1, West Ham 1.
Thank you, Rob. So here on 5 Live Sports Extra, it's Everton 0, Manchester United 2. Schneiderlin with the first after 18 minutes. Herrera with the second 4 minutes later. They could have had a third. What's your take on proceedings, Jimmy Armfield?
Well, Manchester United started the better, and I thought as the half went on, they progressed again. They could have had a third goal, maybe even the fourth. Martial certainly should have scored. Herrera's done really well in that midfield area, and it's that midfield area that's giving all the problems to Everton. They've really not put much of a threat at De Gea's goal in 45 minutes. Good start by Manchester United.
Well, these are the half-time scores in the Barclays Premier League. Crystal Palace 1, West Ham United 1. Manchester City are leading Bournemouth by 4-1 now. Southampton are leading Leicester City 2-0, and West Bromwich Albion 0, Sunderland 0. In fact, I should stress, not all of those are actually at half-time. Chelsea 1-0 up against Aston Villa. But earlier today, Tottenham Hotspur 0, Liverpool 0 is how it finished in the 12:45 kick-off. And Jurgen Klopp, of course, his first game as Liverpool's new manager, at the end of the match, has been speaking to Steve Bauer.
Jurgen, your first experience of English football, how was it?
First of all, it was football. I love this game, and it was very, very good atmosphere here. I would say the first half hour was, I have not enough words in English for this, but not so bad. I could enjoy the game of my team, the atmosphere in the stadium, what the Liverpool fans did. So it was a cool start in this game. Then we lost a little bit of the grab, and we could not do the same things about the whole half time, but that's maybe normal. Second half we need a little time, then we were back in the game, and then it was an open game. Tottenham had the better chances, of course, but we had the first with the post and so on. So I think deserved draw for both teams. Okay, as a start for me. Now we can work with this. It's very important for us that we have our own pictures, our own video scenes, that we can work. This is good, this is not good, and don't have to talk about the past. Look at this. So it's better. It's your own. And now we have one game together, and now we can go ahead.
Was that a good foundation today, though? Did you see a good response from the players?
Yes. Absolutely, the start was perfect. It was really good. I saw many good things. The problem is we didn't play good enough football when we got the ball. The boys can do this. I know this, but of course, it's first time. They are concentrated in pressing, counter-pressing. They take the ball and only change side, please. Then Tottenham have to run, but we are, we look like this and not like this, and we play always in the same space back. So it's a little bit of tennis. So Tottenham had the same problem, not about the whole time, but they had the same problem. So it was a little bit wild. But better wild start than a boring start.
Jurgen Klopp with Steve Bauer. Well, from Tottenham's point of view, after that 0-0 draw at White Hart Lane, it means that they're unbeaten in 8 games, and here is their manager, Maurizio Pochettino.
Very pleased because we are a team that very difficult that we concede the goal, and this is after 9 Premier League games, only one defeat against Manchester United in the first game of the season. Very pleased with the player today. A lot of player injury, difficult, but I think the squad was fantastic. Very good performance, and only we need to training to prepare the next game, but always happy because today we show that we are a very solid team. We are young, but we are very solid.
So that's Maurizio Pochettino, Jimmy. They're unbeaten in 8 games. How would you describe the task that lies in front of Jurgen Klopp now? I mean, he wouldn't have had too much time on the training field because of the international break ahead of that game, would he?
Oh no, you can't expect things just to work overnight. It very rarely happens. I think the thing about it is he's had enough experience from big-time players who've played in the World Cup and in Europe, so he knows what's what. That's one thing. The other thing is too, I think Brendan Rodgers has had to really carry on his back a few of the problems that Liverpool have had. I mean, if you think about it, during his time, he lost Suarez, which was a massive item for him. Then he lost Sterling, Stevie Gerrard, coming to the end. 3 massive players to replace in a short space of time. So, that's one thing that Klopp now doesn't have to deal with. And I think as much as anything else, he'll get support. I'm sure he will. The main thing is too, Brendan Rodgers managed quite a while too without Sturridge.
Yes.
So, he was never lucky. He didn't have much luck with him. And I think the thing is you've got to have that little bit of luck at the right time. And I hope Klopp gets it. We'll see.
Well, we will see. Tottenham 0, Liverpool 0 is how it finished. And the other 2 early games as well. Sheffield Wednesday 1, Hull City 1. So Hull City now unbeaten in 6 games. Steve Bruce has got them ticking along rather nicely because the Sheffield Wednesday side that had previously won their last 4. And in Scotland, after Aberdeen's surprise defeat last night, Celtic have gone top after a 1-0 victory at Motherwell by a 1-0. I can tell you the half-time scores in the Championship. Birmingham City 1, Queen's Park Rangers 1, Brentford 1, Rotherham United 0, Burnley 0, Bolton 0, Ipswich Town 0, Huddersfield 0, Leeds United 1, Brighton the leaders 1, Middlesbrough 0, Fulham 0, MK Dons are leading Blackburn Rovers by a 0-0, and it's Preston 0, Cardiff City 0, and also goalless between Reading and Charlton Athletic. Let's get the half-time details from John Akers at the Etihad.
City missing the goals of Aguero and the creativity of Silva, but not their goals. Raheem Sterling's first senior hat-trick has given Manchester City a 4-1 half-time lead over Bournemouth. He got the first from close range. His second was all about pace and composure, and his third was smashed through the legs of Federici after Navas really should have scored when away one-on-one. Federici in for the injured Artur Boruc, who got injured in the warm-up, was at fault for the second. Wilfred Bonney poking home. Glenn Murray got what looks like could be a consolation for Palace from 20 yards, deflected off Mangala and past Hart. It's been frenetic. Manchester City, despite the injuries, look excellent. Manchester City 4, Bournemouth 1.
You're listening to BBC 5 Live Sports Extra, live from Goodison Park. Half-time details from Stamford Bridge. John Southall.
Chelsea 1, Aston Villa 0, but the goal a real horror show for the Villa goalkeeper Brad Guzan. He inexplicably gave the ball away to Willian. He played in Diego Costa and he tapped in from 2 yards out. Not the first time that Brad Guzan's done that this season. In August he did it back at Crystal Palace to cost his side the points. Frustrating also for his manager Tim Sherwood, because up to that point Villa have just about shaded the game. Begovic had saved from Hutton, Ayew floated a free kick onto the roof of the net, and Gested flicked a shot over the bar from 6 yards out. Chelsea still unconvincing, they look disjointed at times, and they're struggling to create any clear-cut opportunities. There's plenty left in this one. Chelsea 1, Villa 0.
And to Southampton, half-time against Leicester. Andy Gillies.
Leicester 0, both goals, headers from corners. The first coming from Font, whose glancing effort was perfectly placed to go in off the far post. The second as a result of Teller's header, which hit the post, rebounded to Virgil van Dijk. He was no more than a couple of feet from the goal. It rebounded off him, back onto the post, and then Van Dijk struck home the second rebound. Morgan, Huth and Drinkwater all with good chances for Leicester. Davies tipping over Drinkwater's fine shot, but on the balance of play I think Southampton just about deserve it. Southampton 2, Leicester 0.
We gave you the half-time scores in the Championship. These are the half-time scores in League One. Bury 0, Rochdale 0, Coventry 0, Blackpool 0, Crewe 0, Gillingham 0, Doncaster Rovers 0, Bradford City 1, Fleetwood lead Burton Albion by a goal to 0, Millwall 2, Swindon 0, Oldham 1, Sheffield United 1, Port Vale 1, Peterborough 0, Scunthorpe 0, Shrewsbury 1, Southend United lead Barnsley 2-1, Walsall 0, Chesterfield 1, and Wigan Athletic 4, Colchester United 0. In League 2, a result from earlier today: Wimbledon 2, Morecambe 4. These are the half-time scores: Barnet 0, York City 0, Cambridge 1, Northampton 0, Carlisle 0, Exeter 0, Crawley 0, Luton Town 1, Dagenham Redbridge 0, Hartlepool United 1, Leyton Orient 0, Oxford United 2, Mansfield Town 0, Bristol Rovers 1, Newport County 0, Portsmouth 1, Notts County 0, Yeovil 0, Plymouth 0, Accrington Stanley 0, and Stevenage lead Wycombe Wanderers by a goal to 0. And half-time details from Delath Lloyd at Ellen Road in the Championship.
Yes, an entertaining game this one, Ian. Leeds 1, Brighton 1. The home side, though, will feel they should be ahead. They were unlucky to go behind as Brighton, the league leaders, took the lead against the run of play. Solly March picking up a lovely pass, ran into the area with a cool finish into the far bottom corner on 14 minutes. Leeds, though, responded well. Defender Liam Cooper headed home from close range following an Alex Mowat free kick. Mowat and Wood had chances to put Leeds ahead. They're still, of course, looking for their first home win of the season. It's Leeds 1, Brighton 1 at the break.
Well, earlier today there was the sad news regarding Howard Kendall. There was a lovely applause to acknowledge the Everton legend, who sadly passed away at the age of 69, and Everton's most successful manager in the mid-80s, and somebody who played under him, of course, was Peter Reid. And earlier today on 5 Live, Peter Reid spoke to Mark Pougatch to pay his own tribute.
Great man, first and foremost, warm character, and from a professional point of view, he signed me at Everton and Manchester City, way ahead of his time as a professional, pre-season training, all these sports scientists who do all these little sessions and circuits. Howard was doing that way back in the 80s. Very astute, great man manager, and just a real fantastic person, and I'm just devastated. He was a friend as well as me boss, and I'll just miss him immensely.
Peter, what was the key to Howard turning your Everton team from what you were, a decent First Division team, then into FA Cup winners, to winning 2 league championships, to winning the Cup Winners' Cup? What happened? What did he turn?
There was a couple of things. I mean, Colin Harvey come up into the coaching. I mean, the game everyone goes on about was Oxford away, but the game for me was a 3rd round FA Cup tie at Stoke. And the Evertonians, there was about 10,000 there, and in the old Victoria ground. This was his management. He opened the windows where the Everton fans and the crowd, you could hear them all over. And his team talkers was go and do it for them. We ended up winning 2-0, winning the FA Cup, and then he got together such a well-balanced side. It was so well-balanced, and it was a side that it could mix it in terms of the physical aspect, but it could play as well. And at the time, it had the best goalkeeper, in my opinion, in the world. And he turned it because there was a lot of young players there who were playing without confidence. And as we all know, in any sport, confidence is a massive thing. Howard somehow turned these young players who were nervous and edgy into players who went out there and enjoyed playing football for them. And that was his legacy. As we all know, he's the most successful Everton manager in the history of a massive football club.
Peter Reid in conversation, paying his own tribute to Howard Kendall. Wimbledon 2, Morecambe 5, so in fact they haven't quite yet reached full time. Paul Mullen has got that 5th goal for Morecambe in League 2. We heard from the leaders, Brighton, drawing 1-1 at half-time against Leeds United at Ellen Road. In pursuit of Brighton and Middlesbrough, they're at home to Fulham, and the half-time news comes from Alistair Yeomans.
And it's 0-0. Few chances. Ian Stewart down in cut back across for Diego Fabrini after 15 minutes. He scuffed his shot. It wasn't an easy chance. 5 minutes later, David Nugent couldn't quite get enough on Carlos De Peno's flick on. It's a subdued atmosphere here, Ian, I must say. I'm looking at a large banner in the stand opposite which reads "Save Our Steel." The closure of the Redcar steel plant this week has hit the region hard, as you well know, and they could do with a bit of cheer around here. Middlesbrough 0, Fulham 0.
Yes, and they're hoping to take solace with their football team. Thank you, Alistair, with, 2,000 jobs. And it doesn't bode well for what's happening a little bit further down the coast in Scunthorpe after yesterday's developments, either with the current steel industry. Manchester United are back out on the field of play, Jimmy Armfield. Red shirts, black shorts, leading by 2-0, and you'd expect a better performance from the home team.
I will. After watching them play against Chelsea, I was expecting them to be firing on all guns here today, because the last 3 times that Manchester United have made this short trip to Goodison, they've gone home empty-handed. But today they started full of life. I think they've been the better team in the first 45 minutes. I've been disappointed in Everton, particularly in the midfield area, and frankly the back players too, caught out in positions they shouldn't be caught out in, and they both resulted in goals. Players getting into the box, coming with late runs and scoring. I'm pretty sure Martinez has had a strong word with his players. The crowd will be looking for something better, certainly in the second half.
They've made a change of Manchester United. Jesse Lingard has come on. Didn't actually see, with everybody standing up in front of me, who actually made way for him, but Jesse Lingard is the player who has left the field of play, so we'll have to work that out eventually. But Jesse Lingard is the player who has come on, and Everton are also out there, and they don't appear to have made a change at all. But Lingard is on, the number 35, and in fact it must Mata is the player who's gone off. Mata's gone off. So Mata makes way for Lindegaard, and in fact Everton are going to make a change, and it's Aruna Kone who's going to come on, and the player who goes off is Stephen Naismith. What do you make of those changes? Naismith ineffective?
Well, he's the link player, I often think, between the midfield players and the front man. So obviously Martinez, I like the idea that he's gone for it a little bit, putting the extra striker on. I think that, that's a big plus for him, really. He's decided he's got to try and do something to trouble Manchester United's back line that was virtually untroubled in the first half.
Well, certainly when he came on as a substitute, it was one of the substitutions that helped turn things around for Everton when they were actually facing a similar situation against West Bromwich Albion. They won by 3-2 the other week at the Hawthorns. However, they're 2-0 down here. Morecambe has finished 5-2. Wimbledon 2, Morecambe 5 is a full-time score in League 2. That kicks off at 2 o'clock. But we're back underway here at Goodison Park, and it's Everton 0, Manchester United 2. And Schweinsteiger has just gone and caught Stones.
He's on borrowed time for a yellow card, isn't he?
And he was let off in the first half, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Quickly run through the two teams. Howard in goal, Coleman, who was booked, Stones, Jagielka and Galloway, Barry and McCarthy. You've got Lennon, Barkley, Coney and Lukaku. That's the Everton side in this second half as they attack the Gladys Street end in their royal blue shirts and white shorts. Run through the United side after this free kick. But Ross Barkley, notice Gareth Southgate is here, the England under-21 manager. Ross Barkley, though, who's never featured under Gareth Southgate, now targeting, of course, a place in the senior squad next summer. It's his free kick. It's a dipping ball in, and it required a very alert Smalling just to tickle it. In fact, the flag is up anyway, but Smalling wasn't to know that. Lukaku coming around the back, and Smalling had averted any danger as well. The United side, before Jimmy comments on that, De Gea in goal, Darmian, Jones, Smalling and Rojo, Schweinsteiger and Schneidlin. Lingard has now replaced Mata, and Herrera, Rooney and Martial.
Lingard looks to be playing on the right side. You know, he's come up and played in that area. I think he feels, you know, it's the balance he's looking for as much as anything here. But Manchester United's defence, I thought they looked good in the first half. That's the reason I think, I'm pretty sure that Martinez has gone to put Kone on.
Hamilton 0, Dundee 1, a latest score in the Scottish Premiership. This is Lingard's first outing of the season. He was, of course, part of Gareth Southgate's squad that went to Olomouc in the summer in the Under-21 European Championships that had a disappointing campaign, really. And Lingard started well for the qualifying for the 2017 Championships, which I think are going to be held in Poland. But Everton, Stones, of course, who was missing for 2 of those 3 games, will find Jagielka to Barry, chips it forward off his left foot, finding the space is Barkley, tries to head it on. Darmian will head it clear. McCarthy to Kone, crowded out by the red shirts. Schneidlin takes his time, threads the ball to Schweinsteiger. Schweinsteiger looks for Lingard over the top. Lingard brings it under control as it drops over his left shoulder. Back then towards Darmian. And here is Lingard once more, right touchline. Back to Schneidlin. Manchester United leading 2-0. Schweinsteiger totally unmarked forward of the centre circle, always has time to Rojo on that far side. Here is Rooney with his back to goal on the edge of the penalty area. Manchester United lead 2-0, 5 Live Sports Extra. 4 minutes into this second half. Martial on that left hand side, in field, Schneidlin, first time ball, Lingard, then it goes back, a little bit heavy. Darmian will get a touch. Everton can't get a touch at the minute though, can they, Jimmy?
No, they can't. They've got his blood pressure on here. They're coming again, Manchester United.
Schneidlin, Herrera turns away from Galloway. Schneidlin will scoop it into the penalty area and eventually cleared. St Johnstone have got a goal back. St Johnstone 1, Partick Thistle 2. The Everton supporters though are not too happy with this performance, as Jagielka's powerful header and Barkley leaning into Schweinsteiger, and in fact he will actually get the free kick in his favour.
Schweinsteiger is going to get the yellow card, I'm sure. There we go. Third time unlucky, son. There we go. There's a bit of cheering from the Everton fans that Schweinsteiger's got the yellow card.
Well, it's been coming, as you said yourself.
Yes, he might have got it first time, but he stood a yard away from the ball to stop Everton taking a quick free kick. I always see that as a yellow card.
Jagielka will take the free kick. Everton looking for a foothold back into the game. 2-0 down. Kone's header directed towards Lukaku. Rojo's first touch has been taken away off him by Aaron Lennon. He nipped in. Lukaku to Kone. Kone in the penalty area. Scuffed it a little bit. Still the danger remains. Coleman chips the ball into the penalty area. Barkley's there. Put off enough by Lingard. And the free kick then goes against Barkley, who must have fouled Darmian.
Lingard did ever so well there. Lovely little chip by Lennon onto the back post, and I thought Barkley waited for it. Instead of going for it, he waited for it, and it just gave Lingard that opportunity just to get a foot onto the ball. That's a good chance for Everton gone.
But good play by Coleman, wasn't it? Yes. To actually pick out Barkley at the far post. Encouraging signs for Everton. But they're 2-0 down to Manchester United as Jagielka lifts the ball in the air. Lukaku will challenge Rojo. Back in the air it goes. Jagielka will head it behind him to Coleman, the Everton right back. Royal blue shirts playing from right to left. Lukaku trying to hold that ball up and turns. He's done well, the big Belgian. In field. McCarthy. Lukaku then taken out. It was just outside the area by Rojo, but this is going to result in a yellow card for the Manchester United left back. The Argentine indeed is shown a yellow card.
Yes, right on the edge of the penalty area. They were screaming for a penalty at the far end, but he looked like a body check as much as anything else. At long last, the Everton fans have come to life. Free kick right on the point of the penalty area, just outside for Everton.
attacking the Gladys Street end. It's a corner on that right, it's a free kick on the right corner of the penalty area. Barkley's going to take it, Lennon has walked away. It's a two-man wall that De Gea is just trying to make sure is lined up correctly to protect that near post. Barkley off the right foot, you would think would go away from goal. Manchester United lead 2-0, have everybody back inside the penalty area. It's Barkley, headed up and away by Martial, edge of the area. Manchester United now with Lingard will pick up that loose ball and run forward, and Lingard though is lost out towards Lennon. Brentford 1, Rotherham 1, an equaliser for Rotherham. Cambridge United lead Northampton by 2-0. 5 Live Sports Extra here at Goodison Park. Jimmy Armfield.
Poor free kick by Barkley, and it put his team in trouble. They got into a good position, but the free kick didn't even get past the first man. It needs to be lifted. You've got to get over that first player. Free kick's coming in, and it just, Manchester United got it away, and Everton could have been caught.
And we welcome listeners to the World Service from the BBC, wherever you may be. Good afternoon from Goodison Park. We're in this second half. We're in the 8th minute of this second period. Manchester United are still leading by 2-0. Those first half goals from Schneiderlin and Herrera after 18 and 22 minutes. But Everton have made an encouraging start to this second half. And Lukaku. Both teams have made a change at the break. Lingard has replaced Mata for Manchester United. Kone substituted, or the substitute rather, for Naismith. And Everton are attacking the Gladys Street end of the ground in this famous old stadium where the Everton supporters are occupied in the end behind our left. Yes, and West Brom are leading Sunderland by 1-0. Saido Berahino has scored for Tony Pulis' side. It means that every game now has a goal in the top flight. And I'll run through all the latest scores once Everton have taken a free kick. Jimmy Armfield.
Yes, Rojo's van there. He's given away the free kick. Everton were in a good position as well. Mr. Moss, who's let the game flow, the referee, he pulled them back. I think he wanted to make a point. Free kick for Everton.
Free kick, which Barkley's going to take. Right-footed, Jagielka with a header, comes out. Stones will try and lay it back. He does so. Ball played back towards Kone by Galloway. Manchester United will try and force Everton back. That was a late challenge. The referee's played the advantage again. He's been excellent at that throughout the course of the match. And it's a good ball in. Lennon, right-hand side. Lennon, Lukaku! Great save by De Gea and his knees. It was a firm drive by Lukaku. Swept out of play. Goal at Stamford Bridge, John Southall.
Chelsea 2, Villa 0. Big goal for Chelsea. Diego Costa 8 yards out on the left side of the 6-yard box. It took a big deflection off Hutton and looped in. I think that'll be an own goal for Hutton. Chelsea 2, Villa 0.
And a goal at the Hawthorns, Pat Murphy.
Berahino for West Brom. Pantilemon's fault, the Sunderland keeper. Deep cross from Brunt. He's a big lad, Pantilimon. Didn't handle it at all well, dropped it. Berahino said thanks very much. Pantilimon argued all the way to the centre circle, got a deserved booking. West Brom 1, Sunderland 0.
And Rangers have equalised at the Queen of the South. Or at home to Queen of the South. You're listening to 5 Live Sports Extra in the World Service from the BBC. And De Gea made a very important stop with his knee.
He did. It was actually a good shot by Lukaku. Lovely play by Lennon down the right side. He looked, pulled the ball back. Lukaku running in, hit it quite firmly, so it was a good save. An important one as well.
Walsall 0, Chesterfield 2. Walsall, who were leaders this morning, unbeaten in 6, now have fallen to a second goal. Ian Evatt has scored that goal at the Bescott Stadium. Rooney trying to release Lingard, stopped by Jagielka. Barkley will play it back towards Jagielka under pressure from Rooney. He passes the ball towards Stones. Manchester United still lead 2-0. Chelsea then are leading Aston Villa 2-0. Crystal Palace, who remember, down to 10 men with Dwight Gale sending off, still drawing 1-1 with West Ham. Manchester City lead Bournemouth by 4-1. It's Southampton 2, Leicester 0, and West Bromwich Albion are in front by 1-0 against Sunderland. And Watford against Arsenal underway at 5:30. Earlier full-time, Tottenham 0, Liverpool 0.
Good play by Jones there for Manchester United. Lukaku's a difficult man to play against. Backing in, Jones stood firm. He's done well after his nose injury in the first half.
Rooney drives forward and passes the ball back out to Rojo. Martial off that left-hand side. That's where I saw him play for Monaco last season against Arsenal, primarily on the left and cutting forward. He did, of course, then play in a more central role. He's not a prolific, somebody who says a prolific striker. He's still very, very raw, is Martial, but he's coming in now off that left touch line and he's attacking Coleman, but Coleman stands firm and stands tall to the task, and then Lennon will clear for the home team. 11 minutes into the second half, nearly 12 minutes gone, and it's Everton 0, Manchester United 2. Lennon away from a sliding Rojo. Lukaku keeps the ball in play on that right touch line, level the penalty area. And in fact, Lukaku has just fouled Rojo, and that'll be a free kick to Manchester United. This Scunthorpe have equalised. 1-1 at home to Shrewsbury.
Yes, free kick given away. Didn't need to give it away as much as anything. He didn't have the ball under control, Lukaku. It's almost level with Manchester United's penalty area. But nevertheless, he could have still offered a better tackle than that. Anyway, it just takes a little bit of the pressure off Manchester United. It's going to be a free kick to them. De Gea is going to take it.
So De Gea to take the free kick for an Everton side that is unbeaten in 7 in all competitions since the blue half of Manchester won in August by 2-0. Everton, though, at home haven't kept a clean sheet now in 7 home fixtures, which may be a concern to Roberto Martinez as we approach the hour mark. But at least he'll be pleased with the way his side have started this second half.
Yes, well, there's certainly an improvement on the first half. The beginning of the match, I expected, something a little bit brighter than we saw. After the result against Chelsea, when I saw them play here, I thought, there's a bit of spark in them. But Manchester United took hold of the game early on.
Ross Barkley, fouled by Schneiderlin, direct free kick. Barkley complains to referee John Moss. Louis van Gaal is not too happy at all with the assistant referee. He's working himself up into a right state, Jimmy.
He is. He's having a go at the... I wonder if he can understand him, the fourth official there.
The fourth official is now telling him to calm down. This free kick, Ross Barkley's going to take it, bobbing my head from left and right to try and get a better view because the stanchion obscures our view of the penalty area in front of the Gladys Street end, away to our left-hand side. Everton are playing from right to left. And what is a bright and dry afternoon on Merseyside, and it's curled all the way in, and De Gea makes a very good save, a smart save away to his left, and then McCarthy throws himself in front of the challenge, and a goal kick is awarded.
Yes, there's an Everton player got injured in the box there, coming in, but I think the thing about it, as much as anything else, the free kick itself could have gone in. We were virtually behind it, and it curled onto the back post, one of those that curls in from the left side, but just managed to get a foot to it and get it away, Manchester United. This is a bit brighter from Everton all round than we saw in the first half, much brighter.
Gareth Barry had made the run and he'd motioned with his head to try and get on the end of it. I'm not too sure he got a touch, and we've seen Willian score a couple of goals for Chelsea this season.
I think had he got a touch, I think it might have gone in.
Makes it very awkward, but even better the save because he has to react so late, De Gea.
He's made 2 good saves in this match.
But it was curling, it was dropping, and it was swinging in from the left-hand side. And De Gea once again away to his left, did ever so well. Elsewhere, Northampton have a goal back at Cambridge. Cambridge United 2, Northampton 1. Notts County lead Yeovil by 1-0. Burnley are 1-0 up against Bolton 1-0. And Fleetwood now lead Burton Albion by 2-0. Stephen Presley will get his first win then as Fleetwood manager against high-riding Burton. They had lost their last 5. Fleetwood 2, Burton Albion 0. Jimmy Armfield.
Yes, he's got away with Herrera now. Last chance before you go in the book, giving away a free kick.
Barkley. You always think something's going to happen when Barkley has the ball at his feet for Everton. Here is Barry. Drags it back behind him. Galloway. Back towards Barkley once again. Watched by Herrera. Jagielka drops inside his own half, plays the ball forward towards Stones. Stones inside the centre circle, faced by Schweinsteiger, gets himself in a little bit of a tangle, but manages to keep possession for Everton under pressure. And Everton much better as a team in this second period, but still 2-0 down with 29 minutes remaining. Jagielka's ball cut out by Schneiderlin. Schneiderlin then towards Herrera. Rooney's ahead of him and the flag stays down. Here is Rooney in the penalty area. Rooney finishes it. It's an emphatic finish, right-footed. And Wayne Rooney against his former club seals the 3 points for Manchester United. Past Tim Howard, just past the hour mark. Wayne Rooney.
Caught on the break, Everton, as much as anything else. Give Manchester United credit though, when the ball was played through, you know, they caught Everton again, caught square that back four, and Rooney ran onto it, and we were right behind it, and really just, well, it wasn't an easy one for him because Howard was coming out, but he just got enough on the ball to put it in. And Manchester United, well, Everton, after a bright start, really, they look to be out of it now, but they've never been able to handle in this match the ball just coming from defence into attack. They're not breaking Manchester United down, and they've been punished. And it's a good finish by Rooney in the end.
And it's Wayne Rooney's 172nd league goal for Manchester United that takes him ahead of Dennis Law, and it's his 187th Premier League goal. That means he's actually moved level with Andy Cole in the all-time Premier League scoring charts. Only Alan Shearer is actually ahead of the two of them.
You see, once again, just while this move's going on, Rooney got the ball. It was a rare again. You know, he's been involved in quite a lot of incidents today. He was the man who got the ball through. It was a simple ball, and Everton's defence, you know, you could have drawn a line straight across them. Nobody covering behind, and it's happened right through the game.
But it all came from Jagielka giving the ball away, intercepted by Schneiderlin.
Schneiderlin was the man. Schneiderlin was the man who broke it down, went on to Herrera, and Herrera's pass caught them square, and Rooney was onto it in a flash.
They capitalised on that mistake very, very quickly, and any hopes of an Everton comeback, well, with 27 minutes remaining, it's a very tall order now, but it only underlines the importance of the two saves from De Gea, from Lukaku's drive and that Barkley free kick in the space of what, 6 minutes, the two saves?
Yes.
Because Everton had a couple of opportunities to try and get back into the game, but 64 minutes played, 5 Live Sports Extra and the World Service. Manchester United are now 3-0 up here at Goodison Park. They haven't scored in their last 3 visits to Goodison, but they're back on track now. Brentford 2, Rotherham 1 is the latest score. Peterborough have equalised at Vale Park in League 1. Port Vale 1, Peterborough United 1. And you're up to date with all the goals as they go in on the World Service and 5 Live Sports Extra with 64 minutes played. Jimmy Anfield.
Yes, I'm sure Martinez is wondering, you know, what comes next for his team. I mean, he's played his hand really when he put Coney on. As much as anything, they needed to get a goal, you know, to get back into the match as much as I think. The midfield, though, I think has been lacking today. Not enough coming from midfield, not enough players marking. And the other thing which has been poor so far, I've made the point about 3 times now, and you can see it from the stand much easier sometimes than you can from down on the side of the pitch, and that is you can draw a straight line across the back players too often.
Yeah. Just a word about Wayne Rooney. I mentioned that he's now surpassed Dennis Law with his league goals for United. In the all-time list for Manchester United, he's actually now 1 behind Dennis Law's tally of 237. Of course, Sir Bobby Charlton is out in front with 249. So Wayne Rooney edges ever closer to not only eclipsing Sir Bobby Charlton as he has done for his country, but also now for Manchester United. And it's surely, you think, only a matter of time before that actually happens. Barnet 1, York City 0 is the latest score. Kilmarnock 2, Inverness 0 in the Scottish Premiership, and Notts County 2, Yeovil 0. And in fact, Stevenage have got a second goal against Wycombe Wanderers. So Stevenage 2, Wycombe 0, managed of course by Terry Sheringham. 66 minutes played, 3-0 to Manchester United. Jimmy Anfield.
I'm just wondering what other options Martinez might have. And the thing is, Manchester United, on this form and the way they're playing at the moment, they are possible title contenders, aren't they? I mean, I know it's early doors and they've made changes and so on to make that same, but they've got such a strong squad of players. As much as anything else, you know, he has various compartments, he can slot the players around, and he's prepared to give 1 or 2 of his young players a game as well, which I think is a big plus.
And one of them is Lingard, who's in the penalty area trying to get on the end of that high cross from the left-hand side, gathered in by Howard and quickly bowled out. Barkley on the stretch will play it back towards McCarthy. Forward ball then from McCarthy, and now Lukaku on that far side, the right. It's a left-footed ball high in the air. Kone, left corner of the penalty area, His first touch, it goes away from him, but he still manages to retain possession for Everton, attacking the Gladys Street end, playing from right to left. Plymouth are leading Accrington by 1-0. Lukaku ekes the ball out towards Coleman. Coleman will keep it in play, almost level with the penalty area. Leyton Orient have got a goal back at home to Oxford United. Here is Barkley. Barkley to Lennon. Lennon. Coleman's shot.
Better.
Off Smalling.
Yeah, good block by Smalling. He's played well, I think. Centre of defence, and as Jones as well. Got to give him credit because he got a smack on the nose. You know, he's carrying a sort of a cotton wool sort of bandage around for about 20 minutes. He's done well. He's strong. And he's made life difficult for Lukaku. And I think the other thing which has mattered as well is that the players around are aware of, you know, runners from people like Lennon.
Birmingham City 2, Queen's Park Rangers 1. Gary Rowett's side have come from behind at St Andrews as Barkley lets one fly. Lukaku makes the... De Gea makes a save at his near post. Lukaku on the follow-up. It was almost out of nothing from Ross Barkley, wasn't it?
It was, good shot. It was a good shot. Came to the edge of the box, did it first time. De Gea, though, is very reliable. I think it was a massive item for Louis van Gaal when they, you know, brought him back into the fold.
Crawley 1, Luton Town 1. Vital interception by Smalling. He's made. The flag stays down again. Rooney is in here. It's Wayne Rooney trying to hold off Jagielka, prods it goalwards, and then Jagielka will stop that ball. It goes out for a goal kick. Howard has actually picked up an injury in the process.
Yes, he did well. He came out and blocked it, and then Barkley completed the killing, but Rooney was onto it, and it was not dissimilar to the one that came earlier. Yawning gaps, really, that need to be filled. And therein today is the warning, I think, for Martinez. Could easily be another goal, couldn't it?
It could have been. Leicester City have got a goal back. It's Southampton 2, Leicester City 1. These are the latest scores in the Premier League. Chelsea 2, Aston Villa 0. Crystal Palace 1, West Ham United 1. Manchester City lead Bournemouth by 4-1. Southampton 2, Leicester 1. West Brom leads Sunderland by 1-0. And here at Goodison Park, it's Everton 0, Manchester United 3. Earlier Tottenham 0, Liverpool 0 was a full-time score at White Hart Lane. 5:30 start, Watford against Arsenal. 5 Live Sports Extra and the World Service from the BBC here at Goodison Park. Everton still coming forward. Lukaku trying to get out of a congested situation and doing everything. Oh, poorly done well. He's adjudged to a foul. Herrera throws the ball down in disgust at referee John Moss's decision, and that's a sign of dissent, and John Moss will show a yellow card to the Belgian forward. Result in the Championship: Sheffield Wednesday 1, Hull City 1. Latest scores in the Championship: Birmingham City 2, Queen's Park Rangers 1, Brentford 2, Rotherham 1, Burnley 1, Bolton 0, Ipswich and Huddersfield's goalless, Leeds 1, Brighton 1, Middlesbrough 0, Fulham 0, MK Dons 1, Blackburn 0, and the games between Preston and Cardiff and Reading and Charlton are both goalless. Jimmy Armfield.
Yes, Lukaku's got himself in the yellow card there. Sheer frustration as much as anything else. You know, when you're losing, you've still got to try and keep your composure.
Give you the latest scores in League 1 and League 2 as Manchester United come forward. Rojo out towards Martial on the left-hand side. Lingard's downward header. Herrera back towards the England under-21 international. The two continue to combine. They find a way round the back, and in the end it was Jagielka who had to clear. Hasn't got out of play. Yes, it has now. Lingard will let it run out of play for United throw as they attack from left to right with their red shirts and black shorts against the park end of the ground here at Goodison Park.
It's a very casual style, Lingard, young lad. Very casual style. He looks very confident as well. You know, I mean, he's coming to a scenario where his team are winning. I know that, but nevertheless, you know, he's got a little bit of something about him.
And we can go to St Mary's for an update there with Andy Gillies.
Yes, it's 2-1, Southampton 2, Leicester 1, and Jamie Vardy back on the score sheet again. It's a wonderful header from a brilliant cross from Nathan Dyer. Claudio Neri making 2 changes at half-time, taking off Schlupp, taking off Okazaki and bringing on Dyer and Mahrez. They've made all the difference, and Leicester are threatening here. Terrific goal from Vardy, and there could be more to come. Southampton 2, Leicester 1.
Thank you, Andy. Dale Afeo is going to be coming on for Everton. These are the latest scores meanwhile in League 1. Bury 0, Rochdale 0, Coventry 0, Blackpool 0. It's also goalless between Crewe and Gillingham. Doncaster Rovers 0, Bradford City 1, Fleetwood 2, Burton Albion 0, Millwall 2, Swindon Town 0, Oldham 1, Sheffield United 1. as Barry's attempted ball into the penalty area was blocked. Oldham 1, Sheffield United 1, Port Vale 1, Peterborough 1, Scunthorpe 1, Shrewsbury 1, Southend 2, Barnsley 1, Walsall 0, Chesterfield 2, Wigan 4, Colchester United 0. Michael Carrick is going to be coming on as well for Manchester United. Michael Carrick, who missed out on England duty because of a groin injury. Didn't travel, didn't feature in the home game against Estonia, didn't travel to Lithuania. Barkley did, Barkley scored, Barkley now finds Lukaku, out towards Coleman. Coleman coming forward, little look up, into the penalty area with a cross. And it's a slice clearance by Herrera and out of play for a corner kick to Everton, as Burnley now lead Bolton by 2-0. They've only lost one of their previous 7. As the substitutions are going to be made. Aaron Lennon's coming off for Dale Afeo. And Dale Afeo comes on. Manchester United are going to wait for their substitution until after the corner kick has been taken. United lead by 3-0. Barkley to take that corner kick. Dale Afeo takes up a position just outside the D. Didn't beat the first man. It was a disappointing corner. Scunthorpe now lead Shrewsbury by 2-1, a latest score in League One. Carrington will be coming on. These are the latest scores in League Two. A result earlier: Wimbledon 2, Morecambe 5. Latest scores: Barnet 1, York City 0, Cambridge 2, Northampton 1, Carlisle 0, Exeter 0, Crawley 1, Luton Town 1, Dagenham Redbridge 0, Hartlepool 1, Leyton Orient 1, Oxford United 2, Mansfield 0, Bristol Rovers 1, Newport 0, Portsmouth 1. Notts County lead Yeovil 2-0, Plymouth are 1-0 up the leaders against Accrington, and it's Stevenage 2, Wickham 0, and Carrick's replacing Schweinsteiger. Jimmy Armfield.
Yes, yellow carded, of course, so I presume that, as much as anything else, affected Louis van Gaal's thinking. Played well, I think. Schweinsteiger done his job in the centre of the field very well anyway. He got himself booked, might have got booked earlier, but that's another point, I suppose, but he's done his job.
Manchester United supporters are celebrating. We have 16 minutes remaining of normal time. And Fleetwood have got a third against Burton Albion. Surprising scoreline: Fleetwood 3, Burton Albion 0. Manchester United quite happy just to sit back at the moment.
Yeah, they're not defending what you call high up the field. They're defending, in their own half. There's only Rooney really who sort of sticks around the halfway line. All the rest of them are dropping back. I'm sure this is part of this tactic. I was saying earlier on, these 2 lines of 4 are seeing quite a lot.
Rooney for the run of Lingard. Back pass though from McCarthy towards Howard, a former Manchester United player himself. 77 appearances after he joined from New York Metro Stars 12 years ago now. Tim Howard, doesn't time fly? 15 minutes remaining. Manchester City, thanks to that hat-trick from Raheem Sterling, will stay top. They lead Bournemouth 4-1. Manchester United 3-0 up here. Cross comes in for Everton from the right. Chelsea 2-0 against Aston Villa at Stamford Bridge. Crystal Palace still holding out with a 10 men against West Ham 1-1. Southampton 2, Leicester 1. West Bromwich Albion leads Sunderland by 1-0. 5 Live Sports Extra in the World Service with 14 minutes of normal time remaining. Jagielka. Diagonal ball towards Kone. Comes off Darmian. Darmian in fact keeps the ball in play, preventing it from going behind for a corner. And Jones clears. And Rooney, I think, had just given a little nudge in the back of Stones. Free kick to Everton. Jimmy.
Yes, they can't seem to put anything concrete together, can they, Everton? No matter how they try, they've played better in the second half, I think. There's a bit more thought gone into the play. The extra striker, Kone, alongside Lukaku, I think, has made a difference. But I think in midfield, they've been caught out today.
Well, that was a poor ball from Barry. Passed it straight to Rooney. Schneiderlin for Manchester United on the halfway line. Herrera, who's been sharp and involved and certainly influential, opened it up towards that far side, the left. Rojo, Martial now coming in off that left touch line. Under 14 minutes remain. Martial left corner of the box towards Rooney. Rooney just can't get away. Comes out towards Lingard, struck it first time off his right foot, screws it well wide. Goal kick, United comfortable.
Yes, might have been nearer the target that. He had a bit of space, he was on the edge of the box, he struck it well, but it's probably finished about 4 or 5 yards wide.
Here is Gareth Barry plodding his way through the Everton midfield, and it's a lifted ball which is easily headed out by Rojo, and Coleman will take the throw. MK Dons 2, Blackburn 0. Blackburn, who had been unbeaten in 4, they're going to fall to defeat at Stadium MK. Gary Bowyer's side, a mini revival coming to an end in the Championship. Rooney hooks the ball clear. Lingard taking full advantage of Galloway being high up the field. Looks up, Lingard with the cross, and in the end it needed an excellent diving, saving header by Stones, because Herrera had made great ground to be coming in behind him, and he concedes the corner.
Yes, it was a good move by United. Caught Everton on the break again. Lingard down the right-hand side. It was a beautiful chip onto the back post, away from Howard. And I'm sure Herrera, as Ian told you there, he'd made a good run down there. I'm sure he would have scored. Good clearance by Stones, but it's the corner to Manchester United.
In front of their travelling support on that far side. 12 minutes of normal time remain. Manchester United lead Everton by 3-0. The corner has been played a long way back towards Rojo, almost midway through the Everton half, but now it's back out towards that left-hand side. In comes the cross, headed up in the air, only partially cleared by Gareth Barry, and Smalling will dink the ball back over the top. The flag stays down. Martial, nice little footwork, tries to drop the shoulder, turns, still going Martial. He's done ever so well, and in the end he produces an excellent save from Howard at close range.
I don't know how they let him wriggle through from there. He was coming along the left touch line almost, that's the goal line. And somehow he got past about 3 Everton players in a very short space. And the thing is, it was a real opportunity. I think if he'd have looked up, pulled it back, somebody might have tapped it in. Good save by Howard.
The familiar voice of Jimmy Armfield, as Marouane Fellaini, a former Everton player, is getting ready to come on to the field of play for Manchester United. They look towards Lukaku, and Smalling it is who will head that ball clear. Here is Galloway to Jagielka. Jagielka will pass that ball now to Coleman.
The ground's quiet, isn't it? You know, they came, I think, with great expectancy today, but nothing's really gone right for Everton at all. Supporters are quiet. There's nobody leaving or anything, but the thing is, it's it's normally a really noisy stadium, this.
Carlisle United lead Exeter by 1-0. Barkley faced by Schneiderlin, and he was just caught by Schneiderlin. That'll be a free kick in a not too dissimilar position from where earlier in the first half, when they were only 2-0 down, he tested the head of Barkley.
Yes, I think Schneiderlin's played well. Just in front there, he popped up with the first goal. He's played well just in front of the back forward. He's always been a bit of a thorn in Everton's side. Anyway, it's going to be a free kick to Everton. 2 or 3 paces outside the penalty area to the left of centre. Is this Barkley territory?
It is. You probably can't see him because of that stanchion, Jimmy. Patrick Bauer, who was sent off for Charlton, and the 10 men of Charlton have just fallen behind. Reading 1, Charlton 0 is the latest score in the Championship. The World Service in 5 Live Sports Extra at Goodison Park with 10 minutes remaining. Manchester United are 3-0 up. Barkley comes into view now, and it was dipping. It might just have kissed the top of the crossbar. It was that close.
It's good effort. It's good from that sort of distance. Anyway, here comes Fellaini, of course, who knows this area very well.
I think it was just the roof of the net rather than the top of the crossbar. So who is the player who makes way? It's Herrera who's coming off, and Fellaini is coming on. 177 appearances in 5 years at Goodison Park, and 33 goals he scored during his time when he was signed, of course, from Standard Liège. Herrera acknowledges the travelling support. He's had a fine game, Jimmy Armfield.
Yes, he has. Played well today, Herrera. That's the best game I've seen him play. This is the best game I've seen him play for United. Taking the whole package, winning the ball and then breaking forward, getting on the end of things, scored a good goal with a header after a terrific run. Very good. He could have scored another one. Good save by Howard.
There was a smattering of applause as well for Fellaini on his return to Goodison Park. So we have 8 minutes remaining of normal time.
That's it. They used to like him when he was here, but when you move, you know, that's another shirt, isn't it? Wear another shirt then.
Some players move, Jim. As you know, some don't. Free kick, which in favour of Manchester United. Michael Carrick fouled. Crawley 2, Luton Town 1 is the latest score in League 2. Chelsea still lead Aston Villa 2-0. Crystal Palace 1, West Ham 1. Manchester City 4, Bournemouth 1. Southampton 2, Leicester 1. West Bromwich Albion leads Sunderland by a goal to nil here at Goodison Park. Manchester United, after Wayne Rooney just past the hour, had got that third to seal the points. Martial showing strength as he gets away from Coleman, but his pass towards Lingard was intercepted. That was by Galloway. Under pressure, Coleman. He's given the ball away. Schneiderlin will chip the ball forward. Flags is now raised. And that was Martial in an offside position.
It's clever by Schneiderlin there. Won the tackle about 10 yards outside Everton's box. Lovely little flick with the right foot out to the left-hand side. Chipped it forward, but United player had gone offside. I think if I was looking for a star man today, I think I might have gone for Schneiderlin.
Deulofeu. Cross clattered away by Jones. Fleetwood 4, Burton 0. So Stephen Pressley, for his first win as Fleetwood manager, is going for the emphatic style against second place Burton, or at least they were second. Jones stepping out of defence, plays it forward. Lingard, counter-attack is on once again for Manchester United. Lingard on the right-hand side. They play from left to right. Lingard will stop, checks, waits, and plays the ball back to Darmian. The two continue to exchange passes, and then Darmian will go further back. Schneiderlin. First touch by Lingard showed too much to Jagielka, who went in for a thunderous challenge, and out of play goes for a throw.
Yes, I thought Lingard had a bit more of an opportunity there to get, to race on a bit. I was a bit disappointed. He was running forward. His team are winning 3-0. There's about 6 or 7 minutes to go. He had an opportunity to show what he can do down the right, and he checked back into the field. Instead of going on and trying to take young Galloway on.
Wickham have a goal back. Stevenage 2, Wickham 1. Everton looking for a consolation. Deulofeu, not 1 or 2 step overs, but 3 on the right-hand side. As he tried to roll the ball back, it's been intercepted by Fellaini on McCarthy, and McCarthy will try and pull Fellaini back. In fact, he actually makes up the ground as McCarthy against the Belgian. But look at the empty pockets of seats now away to the right-hand side in the park end of the ground. The Everton supporters, somewhat as a sad day for the club after that tragic news with the death of Howard Kendall, heading for home. Their side losing by 3-0, and 6 minutes remain as York City have a goal back at Barnet. Barnet 1, York City 1, a latest score in League 2. Manchester United, though, who head out to Moscow in midweek for a Champions League encounter, are not finished yet. They may still have designs on a 4th goal. Very slow, the tempo of the game. And that 3rd goal really did kill it, didn't it?
Well, it did, because Manchester United now, can take the time, play it around at the back. Everton are chasing the game. They've got to try and come and, do something about it. Try and put Manchester United under a little bit of pressure, even in possession.
It was a test, though, for Manchester United, bearing in mind Everton's recent good form.
It certainly was. I really expected a much tighter game than this. But I think it all took shape in the first 10 minutes. Manchester United came out with intent. I made the point early on, they set the tempo of the game. They were passing the ball around, movement off the ball. And when Everton had the ball, the 8 or 9 of them shuffled back into their own area, then hit Everton on the break. That's how it all worked out for them. And of course today they had the people who could put the end product on the game.
Well, when they lost to Arsenal before the international break, it was United's biggest defeat since they suffered a similar scoreline at Goodison back in April. McCarthy, Stones and Morales were on the score sheet that particular day. And when you consider that the Manchester derby is next weekend, this For a United side, they had to respond in a positive manner, and they've done exactly that against this Everton team. With under 4 minutes remaining, Hamilton have equalised against Dundee in the Scottish Premiership. Although Everton, by their own standards of late, were disappointing in that first half, Jimmy.
Oh, they were. Very much so. I mean, so the crowd, I heard them talking at half-time just behind us here, some of the fans. And one chap actually heard him say, that's the worst they've played this season, reminiscent of, poorer days. I think Martinez's problem really is still, getting this area right, the central area. I do feel it's an important area for him. But I mean, so in saying that, they played well against Chelsea, but Manchester United, they've got a bit more about them just at the moment than Chelsea had that day.
Mansfield Town 1, Bristol Rovers 1, an equaliser for the home side as Lingard's away on the right-hand side for Manchester United. Time to look up, measure the cross, in it comes now. Tucked in and covering was Coleman, only as far as Carrick. Plays it back out to Martial on that left-hand side. Barnet 2, York City 1. Martial with pace. Goes on the outside of Coleman with the cross, headed away by Jagielka, who'll get to the loose ball. Kone first, but Manchester United are back in possession. Schneidlin to Rojo, the left back forward. 2 minutes of normal time remain. Manchester United lead Everton 3-0. Cross towards the far post. Fellaini heads it. Lingard can't control it. Barry can't bring it away. He's lost back out to Lingard with his back to goal. He plays it back towards Carrick, and then Carrick will find Fellaini. Little tug there by Galloway, but Fellaini's away from him. Galloway dives in, and Fellaini's quite happy for it to run out for a corner kick.
Yes, full of confidence altogether, right through the entire team, Manchester United. This has been a good performance by them. Simple corner now, just, let the clock tick down a little bit. A couple of minutes left, no more.
Wayne Rooney on the score sheet with that third goal after 62 minutes. Takes the corner short to Lingard, back towards Rooney. Carrick. Rooney chips the ball up in the air, taken on the chest on the half turn by Smalling, inside the centre circle of the Everton half.
I'm pretty sure, if you think about it, that the Everton players really and the fans would have really liked to have done something, commemorate perhaps the memory of Howard Kendall today. The point is, it's never taken off, has it? Not at all.
No.
There's never been any time in the 90 minutes you've really thought that perhaps, they could get into it.
Martial runs into trouble. Wigan 5, Colchester 0 is the latest score. William Grigg on the score sheet. Free kick in favour of Manchester United. There's been a late goal at Selhurst Park. Rob Nothman.
And West Ham are back in front. It's Crystal Palace 1, West Ham 2, and Lanzini has just forced in a shot from 12 yards after a knockdown from Andy Carroll on as a second half substitute. West Ham have pounded away at the Palace goal, up against 10 men, and eventually Palace's resolve has been broken. Palace 1, West Ham 2.
West Ham United have the best away record in the Premier League. They're at it again. That's their fourth win on their travels this season. Should it stay like that? Palace 1, West Ham United 2. Chelsea still lead Aston Villa by 2-0. Manchester City 4, Bournemouth 1, Southampton 2, Leicester 1, West Bromwich Albion 1, Sunderland 0. It finished goalless at White Hart Lane. And here at Goodison Park, it's Everton 0, Manchester United 3. A rapidly deserted Goodison Park.
Yes, it is. I mean, probably half the crowd will have almost disappeared now. I would have thought they've all through the doors. They'll be really disappointed, the way they've been taken really by Manchester United. But you've got to give credit to United. They've played well today.
Yes, they have. As Stones to Barkley, back with Stones once more, out to Galloway. Left back delivers a low ball in, which is cleared by Jones. It's another clean sheet as well, and you think that he missed the start of the season, De Gea. This will be his fourth clean sheet in 9 appearances. Only his third clean sheet in 8 appearances since his return in September. Manchester City have got a 5th, so Sterling's bagged a hat-trick, and Wilfred Bonney has got himself a second goal. 5-1, they lead Bournemouth, and Rangers are back in front. Martin Waghorn at Ibrox. They need Queen of the South by 2-1. Manchester United supporters are staying right to the end. They're happy with their side's performance. Leading by 3-0. They will just stay within 2 points of their neighbours City, and of course the Manchester derby is next weekend. And we have 3 minutes of added on time. We're almost at the halfway point of that. Smalling joins the attack. Back out with Martial on that left-hand side. Martial then goes on the outside of Coleman towards the byline. Darting run. Oh, and Lingard couldn't strike it left-footed with a swish of the left foot as it was...
Good run by Martial, wasn't it? Terrific run down the left-hand side. Just wanted a touch, really, and it was in.
It's that burst, isn't it, that takes him away from his defender.
That's right. Yes. He's not small either, you know. He's got a bit of power with him when he's running.
Well, news of that latest goal from Manchester City from John Akers.
Wilfred Bonney, his second of the game. Navas down the right, low cross in. Wonderful first touch from Bonney, a lovely turn and a finish with his left foot. Celebrated lying on his back on the ground as Iheanacho goes through to make it 6 with a dink over the keeper. And that's 6-1 for a second game in succession for Manchester City. 6-1 up against Bournemouth. In fact, I think the flag's up. The flag's up. It's still 5-1. They've been so dominant, Manchester City. We're in stoppage time. Just offside on the replay.
It's still not bad, is it? 11 goals in 2 home games.
Big day for Manchester football today.
So Manchester City 5-1 against Bournemouth. Manchester United very, very comfortable here, 3-0. West Brom have beaten Sunderland by 1-0, but a late goal at Ellen Road in the Championship. Delith Lloyd.
And it's the league leaders who've got it. They lead Leeds by 2-1. A minute of normal time remaining. Bobby Zamora on as a second half sub, dinking over the keeper from close range. Leeds 1, Brighton 2.
Brighton, the only side in the English League still unbeaten, as referee John Moss brings to an end the proceedings here, and Manchester United have won by 3-0. Schneiderlin with the first after 18 minutes. Herrera's downward header from Rojo's cross after 22. They could have had a third goal, but Martial's half-hit shot was saved by Howard. Everton, in a 6-minute period, rallied briefly. De Gea made a couple of saves from Lukaku and Barkley, and then Rooney sealed it just past the hour. Jimmy Armfield.
Yes, Manchester United were on top, I felt, right through this match. They started well, they had a lot of composure about them, they got the goal in 18 minutes, a second on 22, and frankly from that point I don't think there was anybody in this ground who really thought that Everton were going to get back into it. Terrific play by United today. Everton, nothing like the display they had against Chelsea, nothing at all. So, big day for Manchester football. Look how City United are coming.
Full time here at Goodison Park. Everton 0, Manchester United 3. However, there has been a late goal at Southampton. Andy Gillies.
And we've still got 2 minutes and 45 seconds of added time to play, and Leicester are level with another Jamie Vardy goal. Leicester have been brilliant this half. They deserve to be level. Dyer and Mahrez coming on at half-time. Dyer crossed for Vardy's first goal, which is a fine header, and Mahrez slipping the ball through for Vardy to put an unstoppable finish past Kelvin Davis in the Southampton goal. It's Leicester 2, Southampton 2, and 2 minutes plus to play.
So still playing on the south coast. I mentioned that West Bromwich Albion have beaten Sunderland by 1-0. Chelsea against Aston Villa is also full-time. Chelsea 2, Aston Villa 0. That will increase the pressure as far as Tim Sherwood's concerned. We've had a late goal at Southampton, another late goal at Crystal Palace. Rob Rothman.
And it's just finished. Palace 1, West Ham 3. A delightful third goal scored for West Ham by Dimitri Payet. Put clean through. He managed to con the goalkeeper Hennessy into going down early and just lifted it delicately over him. Classy finish from a classy player. West Ham really impressive. What an away performance they have put in so far this season. 4 wins and a draw. It's finished Palace 1, West Ham 3.
And especially when you look at Crystal Palace's recent record, where they've only conceded 2 in the last 4 league games. Walsall have a goal back in injury time. Walsall 1, Chesterfield 2. MK Dons now lead Blackburn Rovers by 3-0, and Barnet have secured the points with a third goal late on at home to York City. Barnet 3, York City 1 is a latest score. Well, Jimmy, Manchester United, Manchester City, the derbies next week sets them up nicely with both having comfortable wins here today.
Yes, it has. But I was impressed by Manchester United today. I would think that Louis van Gaal might look at this match as saying, you know, this is probably one of the best performances I've had, you know, while I've been here. The team looked strong at the back. I like the idea of Jones and Smalling, you know. I thought that was good as much as anything else. It looked more secure. But the breaks from midfield, Schneiderlin I thought was excellent today. Herrera probably had one of his best games. And I thought all round there was a little bit of something of the old spark about United today. Everton, frankly, after the first 20 minutes, were never really in it.
No, well, we've heard from United. Let's get the details of that emphatic win for Manchester City from John Akers.
No Aguero or Silva, but no lack of goals. Raheem Sterling with his first senior hat-trick in the first half as it finished Manchester City 5, Bournemouth 1. Aguero's replacement, Wilfred Bonney, got the other 2. The first after an error from Adam Federici, who spilled across. Glenn Murray got the goal for Bournemouth, who were just outclassed. City have scored 11 in their last 2 Premier League matches. They remain top of the table. Manchester City 5, Bournemouth 1.